The idea behind Command Center is this. Imagine you're the person who's responsible for safety in your organization. Now, I want to show you exactly how this works. Before I do, I have to apologize. I realize this is a really, really busy slide, but it's the only one that I know of that I can show you a really high-level overview of what Informacast does and give you that snapshot, exactly what it is in one frame. And here's the idea. Remember we talked about screens and speakers. This is really similar. This is showing you all the different kinds of devices, or screens and speakers, if you will, that Informacast can use as an input device. It can use many of the things we've been talking about, like video surveillance cameras, like some other sensors that we have, chemical spills, gunshot detection, earthquake detection that we have in the San Diego County. It can interface with building physical security systems, lock doors down, those kinds of things. It can also be triggered manually by many desk phones by having a panic button or a series of dials, let's say, star 99 for a certain kind of alert to go out. And with the Informacast mobile app, Command Center, which we'll talk about. So these are all of the things that can be used to initiate a message that goes out. As you probably already guessed, on the right side of the screen, on the green side, are all the kinds of devices that can receive these things. There are these screens and speakers that receive all of these messages, including digital strobes, two-way radios, and so forth, as well as the mobile phones and platforms like Cisco WebEx Teams and Microsoft Teams. So that's a great big overview about the kinds of devices that Informacast is capable of alerting to. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to stop sharing on this screen and go to another one. Give me just a second to set that up. All right. Okay, now what we're looking at is we're looking at the Informacast user interface. Specifically, these brightly colored buttons right here are what we call Command Center. The idea behind Command Center is this. Imagine you're the person who's responsible for safety in your organization. And you get word that, let's say it's the worst case of all, and it's active shooter. Well, several things have to happen, and they all have to happen right now. Number one, you've got to alert people that are in that building who are in harm's way what's going on and how to get out of harm's way if they can. If they can't get out of harm's way, what should they do? Number two, you probably want to get first responders, 911, on the scene as quickly as possible. Give them a complete rundown of what's going on. Administration, superintendents, principals, that kind of thing, they need to know what's going on. Maybe even people in other buildings should know what's going on. If you're in a campus environment or a school district, you may have teachers or staff traveling from one building to another. You don't want them inadvertently walking into the area of danger. So all these messages have to go to different groups of people using probably different forms of media along the way. And it's an awful lot to ask of someone who is under duress. And the idea behind Command Center is a single clickable button. We can do all those alerts instantaneously and they can get out. Let me show you how this works. So I'm going to click send here. Before I do though, I'm going to share a different screen with you so you can see what goes on in our demonstration room. And I'm going to do that right now. Okay. You should be seeing our demonstration room right now. I'm going to go over to the other page that I was on. I'll click send and I'll do that right now.
This is a lockdown. Please shelter in place and wait for the all clear.
Okay, so several things happened at this point, right? You heard this is a lockdown, please shelter in place and wait for the all clear. You can see from the demonstration room here that it's kind of lit up like a Christmas tree. We've got these digital signs that have lit up. These, which have already timed out, these are very typical, which many of you already have in your schools, an AND device, a Wasega device here. This, I believe, is from Atlas. Wouldn't swear to that, but these are various manufacturers. We don't supply this equipment. We partner with many companies who build these various devices that can work with Informacast. All of the phones lit up simultaneously, not only the screens, but also the speakers. And we can interface with these talk phone towers and a number of other devices. So that's going on simultaneously. Meanwhile, I'm a receiver of this information as well. Remember, I sent that information, but I'm not just the person who sent it. I'm also a person who's a registered user. As a registered user, here's what my screen looks like on my laptop. It turned completely red. It told me this is a lockdown event. Now, it's already timed out and gone past, but it told me exactly what to do about that. Shelter in place, get out if I can, shelter if I can't, and then fight only as a last resort. Or you can use the ALICE acronym if you prefer that in your environments. But this is a big enough deal, an active shooter event, that we can't afford to miss people. So to that end, we've discovered that three things are absolutely critical in that environment. And they are, let me get rid of this so I can show you one more shot at our slideshows here. Okay. So three things are really critical in that environment. Number one, it's speed. We've got to be able to reach people in seconds, not minutes. Number two, we want to be able to reach everybody. So there was a study that the Homeland Security did about reach, and many of these alerting platforms are mobile phone based or mobile device based, and they're great as far as they go. It's a really important part of alerting, but it isn't a complete solution. According to that study anyway, only 70 to 80% of the intended recipients were reached on a mobile platform. So that's why it's really important to get the PA systems and the computers that are in front of you and so forth. And then finally, urgency. When I say urgency, you heard that loud announcement. There was an alert tone that came across and said this is a lockdown event. Here's what you do about it. Informicast, again, because we control speakers as well as screens, it's capable of controlling the volume of those devices as well as the screens. And so if the native volume on my laptop is set at a very low volume, and I'm, as an administrator, want to make sure that a really critical message gets across, I can have Informicast turn the volume up of that on that device or any number of devices to maximum volume to make sure that people's attention is gotten. It's kind of like a fire alarm, right? They really get your attention because they're super loud and they're unusual. It's the same idea with Informicast and using this sense of urgency by turning up the volume.